But yeah, I used to do all sorts of capturing back in the day. Steve doesn't know me from when I used to stream. I don't think you do either, Will. It was before I kind
No.
of
Watched you stream
Yeah, I did.
once, I think.
I didn't. I've never watched you stream with a face cam, other than the one time you did like an art stream that broke your PC and your tablet and stuff.
blue screened my computer.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember that. That was funny.
You know the Windows noise of like doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
It was like
Mhm.
I shifted my drawing tablet like an inch to the left, and it made what I can only like describe as like rapid fire Windows noises, and then blue screened. And I was like, oh, that's really not good.
I was like, your
I
face was
bet
too
that was a
beautiful for
really
Twitch.
entertaining stream, though.
Yeah, all 7 minutes of it.
It was like I was excited for it as well, and then you just never streamed a face cam again.
I used to I think I streamed for like 2 years for 3 days a week.
Hmm.
That was a long time ago. I always
I have a
talk about it.
really-
It's like the dark ages of Twitch when there was no subs or bits or anything.
Yeah.
It was like I think
No hype trains?
no nothing. Partnership was I think concurrent average view of like 500, and
What?
there was no affiliate, so you could literally make outside of like PayPal donations. There was no monetization on Twitch.
I thought you were going to say partnership was just like if you showed up.
No,
it was like the complete opposite.
it was harder for some reason. I don't know why. I feel like it sounds kind of I don't know like weird, but like I think dangling the carrot a little bit closer to a lot of people, like they do now, is like it makes people stream more. You know, like with affiliate and partnership and stuff. Whereas like before, it was like you stream a lot, and it's like how do I get partner? Get 500 average people. It's like oh
That's
yeah,
absurd.
that's not
Yeah.
happening. I'm just gonna stop.
Especially back in the day as well, when it wasn't as popular as it is now. That would have been what would that have been like 9 people.
Average concurrent viewership of 9. Give this man a job,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. No, it's like it's that's kind of like how it was though, and I think you say it's like it's easier now, but there's also a lot more streamers now, I guess.
It's it's just different, isn't it? It's easier in some ways because all the infrastructure is already there, and it's harder because it's very difficult to stand out at the moment.
Yeah, but it also depends like what you're playing and stuff. I remember specifically I played basically nothing but Mario Maker, and my audience was 50 children. It's like okay,
It's not bad though.
It's you just be playing, you just be chilling, you know, just vibing, doing whatever, and then just someone comes in chat and it's like, play my level, and just dumps the code, and it's like, oh, and you're
I
like,
miss Mario Maker.
I don't.
It's still there.
I know, but now I feel like it's going to be over like you already was before. Like you'd go into Mario Maker and you'd get like, oh, someone put 2 seconds of effort into this level, or they've put in like 200 hours and you stand no chance.
That's how it was though. Like I said, some kid would come in and be like, play my level, and you'd be like, okay, let's have a look, and it'd be the worst thing you've ever played. It's like it would make Miyamoto cry. And you just like you finish it in like 3 seconds, and you're like, I'll give it a like, I guess, your thumbs up, and then like you go like, thanks for sending the level in. The kid never replies. He's already gone. Like,
He's already cruised onto the next guy.
He's already gone to the next streamer from Mario Maker. Go, play my level. Shit is messed up.
It's funny you talking about streaming because I genuinely, when streaming started and around the time you were doing it, I just didn't get it. I was like, that YouTube exists, and that's where everybody puts like nicely edited. Why would I watch 8 hours of unedited guy hanging out when I could watch 10 minutes of all of that condensed into a nice little chunk, and then
I hated Twitch when it first came out because it was like I was watching like Let's Plays, and then all the YouTubers were like, I'm moving over to Twitch. You go and watch their stream, and every 2 seconds it was like, thank you for the sub, welcome. And they'd be giving their spiel, and I'm like, just play the game, please. Tell me your stories.
It's been fun watching people figure out like the etiquette as well around that kind of thing. Because I remember I was the same. Like you watch people and they have some annoying fucking sound alert that goes off every like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
You're like, this is unwatchable. I can't deal with this.
Steve reconsidering his eggplant scream now every 2 seconds in his own stream. But yeah, I don't know. I tend to gravitate more towards YouTube these days, I think, than Twitch. I do still do a bit of both, but
yeah,
I don't have a lot of time to watch streams like loads in a row, so I get more out of like YouTube.
I feel like I'm the opposite these days because YouTube is like demands your attention for X amount of time, and it's like, and then you have to skip the ad read and stuff like that, and then people are trying to hit their timers right for ad revenue properly, so like they'll be like padded sometimes, whereas like I can turn on a stream and it's just like it's just enough engagement where I can be like, I'll put this on in the background, do some work, and I don't have to super be involved with it, but it's nice background noise and I can chat and dip in if I want to. So I'm the opposite. I've come full circle.
I kind of feel like I kind of feel like if I'm not tuned in 100%, like I'm missing something. It's like FOMO for streams. Yeah. And I think that's why, like, if I sit down and watch a stream, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll watch this for like, 20 minutes, half an hour, and get something out of it. But I think I normally leave just to like, help out friends, and I always leave it on the side. But I also get more out of like the communities as well. It's nice to always like chat with everyone, just hop in and out and be like, sup.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun. It's like, especially like the whole community that's built up around both of your streams and everyone else around its streams and everything. It feels like, I don't know, like one big family.
Yeah.
Family. Yeah.
Big family. But yeah, that's always a nice part, which you don't get with YouTube because YouTube comments are atrocious, to put it nicely, most of the time.
Well, there's no. It's weird. There's no like.
There's no retention.
There's no retention. Yeah,
I'm not going to go back to have a conversation with someone in a comment section of YouTube.
I do on occasion, especially with the tier list video I did. Oh, some people had opinions.
I bet. But I feel like Twitch has grown up around this thing of like building a community, right? Is like part of being a Twitch streamer, whereas YouTube has just never had that. Yeah, and it's this only a recent thing. Same thing where like YouTube have started putting in, you can essentially like sub right to people on YouTube, but just nobody does it because it didn't start. People are used to YouTube being free, so nobody does it, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like bolting monetization onto the side that doesn't add much apart from like supporting the person, but that person's probably also on Twitch or other places that I already pay for support.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not going to do it again.
They used to have that problem. Like I listen to podcasts all the time, and the scrambling people did in like 2000 in the like early aughts to try and monetize podcasts in weird ways, like more and more adverts, and then there was like, oh, you can sub to this thing and get podcasts. It's like no one's gonna, people are used to just not paying for this, so no one's gonna.
Yeah, podcast monetization is still like really weird outside of, I think, like sponsorships and then doing like that sort of stuff. It's kind of like, I don't know. Is Sam asleep?
Sam is here.
Okay.
I thought I heard you snoring.
Yeah, we're getting some heavy breathing sounds.
Right, I'll turn myself down. That, by the way, that's just me.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm a heavy breather.
It was just spaced enough that I thought you were asleep.
I thought it was as well.
Well, on that exciting note of falling asleep out of boredom, hello everybody, welcome back to the Game FourCast, weekly gaming podcast. We're going to get together and chat about what we've been playing all week and news stories. My name is Josh, aka BottlerWorks. I'm here with Olivemeister Will.
Hello.
And Steve Quikwix.
Hi, my name is Steve, and I put the cum in unbecoming.
Oh, and Sammeh.
Hey, Sam.
You can have a nap for a minute because we're going to start with Steve. What have you been doing for the last 2 weeks, Steve? So much time. You must have done something.
Ooh, well, I actually visited Josh in real life in those 2 weeks, so that was nice. But no one wants to hear about that because he's kind of a boring person.
I'm really boring.
I yesterday entered into a hunt tournament.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have it ready already.
The Showdown, Snowdown Showdown.
What a surprise here is.
I liked your fake surprise, even though we planned all of this week beforehand.
But yeah, we did it. It was a chill time. We did very well in the tournament placement. We came 13th out of 85.
Yeah, when you first said that, I was like, 13 is all right. And I looked at it, and there's a lot of teams that competed.
Yeah. But our team were the Owl Olympic Chaffleets. I played with Stolas and Bluntcast, and we had it. I think we had an easy time because we had a couple of bad games.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was a lot of going in, killing a boss, and extracting without any PvP. And then near the end, we had some like really good pop-off games. I had like one, but then Bluntcast really did very well.
You got like 9 kills or something in one game?
Yeah, in one game. But
That's
that was a lot of a team self-resing and, well, not self-resing, but they were resing each other, and I farmed them a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun time. I've done this. This is the 4th time I've done this tournament, and this is the best placement so far. But I'm sure the next time I will place even better.
That's cool. That's cool. It's quarterly, right? They do it like every 3 months.
Yes, it is quarterly. So the next one should be around April, somewhere.
Yeah, I was jumping in and out of Bluntcast's stream. That was a really fun time watching you all do that together. I liked he moved his webcam into the middle of his stream because when you get not hosted, but like they watch your stream, I guess this like overarching stream. They have webcams in the bottom left and bottom right. And I think you said at one point that when you streamed it, like last time, you got completely covered up.
Oh no, the first time.
Oh, that's funny.
The first time I even like commissioned like icons for the people I was playing with. So I was like, oh look, we're gonna have fancy icons, and they're gonna be so impressed. And then I was just covered up. So the next time, my imp behind the scenes, my imp had no legs before. It was just like the top torso. And I was like, I messaged Suds being like, hey, can my imp get some legs so I can have him floating in the air so people can see?
Did you get much time on the Jumbotron, as it were,
I haven't
on the
checked.
big screen?
It was only yesterday, so I haven't had time to check. But even if it was, it would have only been like one, for like maybe a minute or something. Yeah.
I just thought it was so fun. I think when we're talking about like getting covered up by the webcam and stuff, I think Bluntcast made a joke about like you said like how you got covered up, and he shouted like, "I'm not gonna get Mike Wazowski'd," and that like I laughed so hard when he said that because the part in the Monsters Inc. movie where he's like, "I'm on TV" or something, and then he's like, "No, he's on a magazine," and it's just like a big sticker over his face. It's so good. I thought it was really fun. I had me in stitches. Yeah, well, apart from that, you been up to anything else, Stephen, or is it just like a little one?
It's just been I've been having a lot of fun, but again, no new games. I promise I'll play something new soon.
Well, it's like the issue I'm having at the minute. I'll get to my stuff in a bit, but like I was saying before we started, I'm dabbling in like 4 different things right now.
Yeah, same. I'm dabbling in a bunch of different games, but it's just the same games I've been playing, so...
Yeah. Well, I know there was a big game that came out on Friday, and Sam's been playing that. Haven't you, Sam?
Oh, what's that game? I no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, I got it ready already. Oh my god.
I'm not too far through.
Yeah.
But I've been playing Fire Emblem Engage, and this game is so good.
Yeah. I've been watching Laura play a lot of this, and so I know a lot about it, or like bits and pieces, even though I haven't like played it. It looks so much nicer compared to Three Houses.
The first thing, and I've seen memes because I've tried to like not see stuff about this game. So obviously I'm playing through. I don't want spoilers. So everyone is safe here. I will say nothing.
Yeah.
But you get control of your character for the first battle, and like when you press left and right, it draws like an arrow to like where you're gonna go.
Yeah.
Your character actually like moves, so you can actually like just move around and see where your character. And it's a very small thing, and I was like, "Oh, this game's gonna be good." But
yeah,
this game, it feels like I don't know if they actually listened to feedback or not, but they must have, because this game is just like you do a battle, and then there is that intermission between like your next battle.
Yeah.
But it's like basically all entirely optional, and only if you really like, gives you the option to talk to everyone if you really want to at the end of every battle. You don't get anything out of it. It's just for story wise, you can,
Yeah.
You lose nothing if you don't. So they're like, here, that, like when you're running around the monastery in Three Houses, they're like, for the people that like that, you've still got it. For everyone else, just play the game.
Yeah.
And it's so nice just being able to go like battle.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Josh is scrolling through the characters.
What's wrong,
and it's
Steve?
just girl with big boobs. It's just like, oh, they know what they're selling. Okay.
But
oh yeah, it's a Fire Emblem.
Yeah,
Have you seen a Fire Emblem game?
Have you seen any anime game ever?
It was like 3 or 4 Fire Emblems ago that we just abandoned all medieval fantasy fighting and we went full anime, big titty shirtless boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a secret anymore.
It's also because the whole thing with this game is you get these rings that like give you the power of like Fire Emblem spirits from previous games.
Yeah.
But they've also got, it's really weird, and I do like it because you don't have enough rings to give to everyone, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you give it to the people that it's most suited for or who you like best. Because all it actually does is give you stat upgrades, and then it will give you perks, like passives. And like if a guy is like, oh, if you're using a sword, deal more damage, then you should probably put it on a sword guy,
Makes sense.
Is it not like a Pokemon thing? You're not sending out like Marth and telling him to do like Hydro Pump or something?
No.
It's just
equipped Marth to one of your guys, and now
right, and he just gets better.
It's
he gets better.
It's
and
JoJo
then,
stance.
Yeah, and then once you filled up your bar for 3 turns, you are embodied with the power of Marth, and then you get new moves. You get to use Marth's weapon. You get a ton of skill like passives for like 3 turns to like really pop off.
Yeah.
I use that line on Aaron sometimes.
Give Erin the power of will to pop off.
Come on, Hardy, I'm embodying the power of Marth.
It's really cool. And then they have this almost like, it's almost they're like, well, we've got to put a little bit of crack in it. So
Just
they
a little
have
bit
this
of
like
crack.
gacha system
Yeah.
where you build up bond points by basically just playing the game, but you can get extra if you do a couple of mini games here and there, and you can spend them on any of your main emblem rings, and you get like mini rings which have the names and portraits of people from the game that character is from.
I really like that system. I saw Laura doing this and it looked really cool.
Yeah, and it's like, so I think I'm using one guy, I've got like 5 of his rings at rank B, and the ranks go C, B, A, and S. And it's like, yeah, the ring, all it does is give you +1 strength, +1 speed. But I'm like, those are 2 very important stats, so on everybody it goes.
In like design and looks, it reminded me a lot of the I think they're called stickers or something from Smash Bros. Ultimate, where they were like, okay, we don't have the budget, obviously, to make a 3D render of every single Nintendo property. So here's like some. I don't think it wasn't gacha in Smash Bros, but you unlocked artwork basically that you would attach to fighters to give them like perks and stuff.
But
and it's like this is that.
Is in the style
okay.
of the game it came from.
Yes.
So if you take the one from Marth, it's really old school.
Yeah.
Concept art level. And then you take the one which, is it Selena?
The second one, I think, is, yeah.
So that's from a recent game. I think that's before Three Houses.
Yeah, it's Echoes. I think it's a 3DS remake of the second game.
And all those like pictures are really up to date. Like like you think, oh, that could be a character from this game because the graphics on the Switch haven't improved in God knows how many years. But yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I was watching Laura got one. And it was like an anime girl with an absolute 5 head drawn like 60 years ago on the first Nintendo.
So it's like so it doesn't just pull these like title characters; it pulls all the little side characters from all the past games as
from
well.
what we don't know this for sure, but I was talking to Laura about it. So we're guessing, but I think there's something like 12 main rings or something.
In the story they say there's 12. That there could be more, and it's just only 12 are known about.
Yeah, but as soon as there was like that, I was like, okay, I went straight to Google. And I looked up, like, how many mainline Fire Emblem games are there? And there's, like, 13, 14. So I was like, okay, if each ring is, like, a main character or something from each game, and that would make sense, because then all the little side rings with, like, the 2D artwork would be artwork from that game.
Yeah.
Only.
You only get 8 per Emblem ring. You can only get 8 side characters per main ring. Yeah. But, it's just a really neat thing. And it's like, it's not huge. If you don't interact with it, you're losing out on 1 strength and 1 speed. You know what I mean? Again, it's a system where it's not like, oh, you have to use this system, otherwise you're not like playing the game right. But it's like, if you do it, you get some neat bonuses, and it can help you round out your team if your guy is always getting attacked twice because his speed's too low, stuff like that. Just gives you more customization. But again, I like systems that are put in where it's like, hey, there's this thing you can do if you want to be stronger, but if you don't interact with it, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that important. Like, it's not important in the slightest. And I love systems like that.
Yeah, everything I've seen about this game so far looks really good. I'm not massively into these games, unfortunately.
So good.
But just as an outside viewer kind of watching it looks really nice. I also watched Laura play a lot of Three Houses, and that game looked good as well, but I kind of always felt like, oh, this game looks really grainy and flat and rough, whereas I'm watching her play this on the same system, still a Switch.
Oh, it's smooth.
It looks so much nicer.
Well, Three Houses was the first one that went properly 3D, even in the like map, right? Before that, it was always sprites that transitioned to 3D.
Yeah,
I think
I think you're right. Yeah,
someone can correct me. So I could forgive them a rough rough one.
Yeah, maybe, but still, like the game, the actual combat as well. Maybe it's because I'm early, but the maps are a lot more compact. Yeah. So because you don't have to travel over so much ground, it actually means that you're finishing combats in 5 to 7 turns, but it means every turn is a lot more impactful.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
Really enjoying that at the moment.
What difficulty are you on?
I'm playing on baby normal difficulty.
Oh, okay.
I'm also playing on if someone dies, I don't lose them forever.
Yeah, Laura's
because I've come to the acceptance. I'm not like, even when I played on those modes where if you lose someone, they're gone. All I would do was just reload the save anyway and keep doing the mission until I didn't lose them. So why am I inflicting hours upon hours of pain on myself?
Yeah. I thought it was so funny when it's like, I get it. I know the route, like obviously it's roots, right? Is you have to, that's part of the game. But I think it's so funny they put all this work into these characters, and then it's like, oh well, you fucking moved your archer 2 spaces too far, and now they're dead, and then they're just gone for the rest of the game. It's like, who's gonna go for that?
Again, it's fantastic to give the player the option to do that. Yeah. Because what it means is on if someone wants to do a second playthrough or someone is a diehard fan of the old games, they can. There's no need to force the player to play a certain way.
Yeah.
When both are viable, just let them choose.
Yeah. I do love the idea though of just 2 people talking and one of them being like, "Oh, fucking, Naruto's story in this game was so good. I loved his arc. It was brilliant art. Brought me to tears. What did you think? It's like, he died in game 2.
He was really wanted to level him up.
Bloody knights got him, didn't they?
Yeah, ran him out versus 3 guys.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't think it was that sad when he was just ganked by a bandit and died. It wasn't that.
Wasn't that? Yeah, I don't know. It kind of ended abruptly. His story. It was really weird.
But yeah, Laura...
Sam and Laura, I have a question for both of you. I've seen Laura's in the chat. Who's the new best Fire Emblem character from this game? Then
I'll ask her quickly. I don't think she's listening.
Who's your go-to?
What's the best Fire Emblem character in the game?
What's the character I'm going to see on the internet for the next all over my Twitter for the next 6 months?
I think it might just be the main character.
It's the main character.
Like, your main character isn't a silent protag. They actually have a personality and a voice.
Yeah.
Laura said someone called Yunaka. I don't know who that is, but
I've only just unlocked her.
Okay.
She's the thief character.
Oh, is she the one with the star on her face?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know her, yeah. I gotta say, from what I've seen as well, all the characters look really good, except for the protagonist. I think they look so stupid.
It's the Colgate haircut. I can't get over it.
They've teased something with the main character, so I'm interested to see where that goes.
Yeah.
But
for now,
I just like that it's not a silent protag. I dislike silent protag sometimes.
You're supposed to insert yourself, and it makes it more connective or something.
Yeah, but
I always thought it was funny in Three Houses when, you know, it's like you midway through the game and someone's like, "Oh, you are such a good teacher. You're so inspiring." And I'm like, I've said 3 words to you since we came into this.
Well, you're playing any game, and it's just like everything is going nuts at the end of a game. Everything is going mad. Shit's exploding. Earth's exploding, and your protagonist is just there, just saying nothing.
They've got the one like hand to mouth shocked face, and and it's like, oh shit, serious.
It hasn't like I don't think we've had that in a while. Where a silent protagonist has looked really out of place. But the newest one for me, I think I mentioned it, was this Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, where there was just like no voice acting. I was like, oh my god. This is so bizarre.
Yeah, especially because it was with that game, it was bizarre because they had a trailer where they gave at least the principal voice acting.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so we get voice acting for a trailer, but not the actual main game. That was a choice.
We had to get a guy in, put him in a booth, make him talk, record. Oh, it's too much work. We'll just take it back. No one will know. Just a psych to the whole idea of voice acting.
They did the one reading of the trailer, and they were like, "That was so."
They did one reading, and we're like, "That was that was hard. Let's just not do it. You know, let's just not do it."
I had a moment like that this week. This is off topic, and I don't want to talk about it. But I tried to go back to. Remember, I talked ages ago about Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I got 130 hours into that game, and I didn't finish it. And today, Erin was like talking about it yesterday and saying like, "Hey, I want to go back and play this." And I was like, "Yeah, I loved that game. I'm going to go back and try and finish that." I can't do it. I can't pick up a 130-hour RPG after
that's insane.
8 months not remembering a single thing. And I walked around for a bit. And there were so many named characters that I was like, no, I can't do it. But going from playing Baldur's Gate a couple of weeks ago, where literally every single cutscene is voiced, and then going in here where it's just like walls of text, and I'm like, ooh, this is... Yeah, I forgot this. I forgot about this.
Yeah, I know. I think walls of text these days, unless it's like a franchise that I know and love, walls of text are a no-go for me. I'm just like, I'm so over reading. Like, just let me listen.
2023, the year Steve gave up on reading.
It's going to get to a point.
I
get to a point where it's like, oh, looking is hard as well. Fuck, just play audio at me.
Yeah.
Audio describe.
Yeah, wait till you discover music.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right, anything else, Sam, before you wrap it up?
No, I mean, Fire Emblem Engage is great.
Yeah, good game.
It's definitely 100% for me. Like, absolutely in the right direction. Because Three Houses was still a good game, but it had a lot of issues.
Yeah.
I think with a lot of the player base, myself included.
Yeah, I mean,
and it feels like they've actually moved forward.
It's another one of the series Fire Emblem where I know I don't really like them, but just everything about this game looks like a step in the right direction. I think, as someone like as an outside observer looking in.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of annoyed because I'd kind of we tried to play Pokemon, and I was like, no, this is it. I'm washing my hands of the Switch completely.
Yeah,
and then I see Fire Emblem come out, and
and it's good, and it's good.
I have to give it a go, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give it a go because I do like them.
All right, then. We'll throw it along to you then. Will, what have you been doing, Will?
So a little while back, I talked about how me and Aaron were playing through a digital board game called Gloomhaven.
Yes.
And we really liked it, which is lucky because what I didn't tell her at the time was years ago, I think before we'd even met, I had kickstarted the sequel called FrostHaven. So I was like, so when this cropped up for free on Epic Game Store, and I was like, yes, we can play this. And then if Erin really hates it, maybe I could look at trying to get a refund, because this is like a it's the same deal except not digitized. So this is a sequel to Gloomhaven, one of the best, highest rated board games of all time. You can play it right now on Epic Game Store, and I would highly recommend it.
Better than Snakes and Ladders?
Better, it's close. There's a lot more stakes in Snakes and Ladders.
Yeah,
like
you can fall at a moment's notice.
Yeah, it's like it's tough to get into for outsiders. But yeah, I guess I feel fairly comfortable talking about this on like a gaming podcast because it is kind of a video game but turned into a board game, right? So when you're playing Gloomhaven, you're like 3 layers deep at that point because it's a video game that someone made a board game of that then got digitized and put into a video game, and it's like this feels just like right at home, right? So this is like the setup is you, instead of basing it around a city, this time you're like an outpost in the north, kind of north of the wall, Game of Thrones style.
Yeah.
And the whole point is you have this big, huge piece of artwork in the form of a map, and it's a map of like the region and then a map of a town. And the whole point is you go out on missions to progress the story and acquire resources to build buildings and upgrade your settlement and stuff like that. And it's fantastic. It's amazing, and everybody should play it because what you get to do is, right, you go out on a mission, you grab a bunch of stuff, you come back, and you're like, we're going to build a lumber mill. And it's me and Aaron sat around our dinner table because this is expansive and it covers the entire dinner table. And you're like, we're going to build a lumber mill. And what you do is you peel off a little sticker from a reference sheet, and then you stick it on your town on the map, and like for reals, permanent. It's done.
I was going to say, like, that sounds pretty fucking permanent.
It's on there. I can't take it off now. So now, as we progress further in, we've got a lumber mill that gives us resources and stuff. And that's what I mean, where it feels like a video game, right? Because that's a very like video gamey thing. You can't typically do that in board games.
So, really stupid question: how do you play it again if you're using? You don't.
You just. Well, I think there's like stuff you can do to get like removable stickers and things like that, but I didn't bother with that because this is I think we're about 15 missions in of like over 100, and it's taken us like 2.5 weeks, so I was like doing the math in my head like we're probably never gonna
that's the dinner table gone now until like October.
Until the end of next year. But yeah, this game is so much fun. It's like all the classes are they don't bother with like warrior and rogue, right? It's like I'm playing a drifter, and his whole thing is he buffs himself with these like abilities that tick along tracks. So it's like, the next 6 times you move further, but this progresses, and then the rest of his setup is to bounce those things back. So you have to like play enough of those to where you can beat the scenario, but if you play too many, that means all of your cards are tied up with buffing yourself, and then you don't have enough to actually do. But if you don't do enough, you're not strong enough. And then we've had a couple moments where it's like I've fully assembled Voltron, and I'm fucking it's like end of scenario, and I'm fucking invincible, and I'm tearing around the map. And it's just really fun. Everybody should go and try and play Gloomhaven if they can. It's on Epic and it's pretty cheap, I think, at the moment. I think it's on Steam even at this point.
They gave it away at one point, right?
Yeah, they did. They did.
So a lot of people, and we would have shouted about it here. So a lot of people listening might actually just have
it still sitting in their
it was game library.
Yeah, it was in the pandemic when everybody was just posting and claiming Epic Games like every couple days. But yeah, that's it really. It's just you go out on little scenarios, and it's got this there's this scenario flowchart behind me, which is like an advent calendar. And what it is you start at like 1, and then 1 is you peel the little window open, and there's a sticker behind it, and you put that on the map. And then from 1, it's like, well, you finished number 1, you've unlocked 3 and 4, and then you peel those doors open and stick them on the map, and then you go to 4. That unlocks like 6 and 10 or whatever. And it's like you have a reference book where all the time it's like you'll do something and then it'll be like, all right, flick to passage 168.7, and you read that out and it'll be like, oh, while you're wandering about, a trader comes into town and he's got some wares to sell. And you're like, oh, and then that's like, and it's oh my God, I can't get enough of it. I want to just, we're saying to Aaron, like, we'll be sat doing work or something, and then we'll be like, quick, we'll do a scenario.
In and out 20-minute adventure.
In and out 20-minute adventure, just so we can stick more things to the map. You know what I mean? And it's like, and you change like everything. Like, there's like loot in the game, so it'll be like, you'll flip a card over and it'll be like, you get 4 lumber, right? But then something happened in the game where we ran into this like lumber guy. I can't remember what the sound was.
Lumber guy.
But it was like, I'm going to teach you how to harvest lumber better. And he's like, get 2 of your little lumber loot cards out and stick a +1 to them. And now every time you flip that over from then on, you get an extra lumber. And it's like just little things like that all the time. It's fantastic.
This sounds like there'll be another Epic Game Store equivalent of this version at some point.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, what you're describing is so elaborate. It just sounds like a video game, but it's not. Yeah, it's a board game.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's same thing. The whole game is, because it's like persistent. They can do things where you start with like you start with a choice of like 6 characters, but pretty quickly, they're like, oh, you finished this scenario? Why don't you go and open that little box down there? And it's like the whole board game box is just filled with like envelopes and little like chests and things like that. And it'll be like, you see that little box that's got a big seal on it? You go crack that right now, and you get it out, and there's like a miniature in there, and you're like, another class, and then you're like, oh.
It sounds so good.
It's so exciting. I need to message Sam as well, because I want to convince Sam that this game's great, because I think Sam would fall in love with this game if you could just play it.
Sounds like you need like a whole room in your house dedicated to like.
Our whole dining table is covered in maps and charts right now, and it's great.
It's like when I go to my granddad's house, and he's got like he has like a puzzle room, right? And he's got and he's got not puzzle as in like escape room, but
and go to your granddad's house and he locks you in a room.
No, it's like he's got like what's the word, like the puzzle easel, where it's like a 45-degree board where you just do massive jigsaw puzzles on it. Yeah, and then around the room he's got like tons more jigsaw puzzles, and look over here, Josh, I've started this one, and it's just like puzzle room. And like FrostHaven is the modern day nerd equivalent of big thing that takes up lots of space.
Yeah, it basically is. Like, we've got to have at some point there's some builders doing work upstairs, and they need to do something to our ceiling at some point. And I'm not looking forward to them coming into our living room and being like, you got a whole whole setup there. What's going on there?
Mind your fucking business.
Table covered in maps and stickers, and
we're going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah. This game is so good. I would recommend it. I wouldn't recommend paying like scalper prices, because that's all you can. Because it's like the Kickstarters have only just started. showing up. So it's like, I think eBay is listing it for like £200+ right now, which is,
I was going to ask
do not do that. That's not.
Yeah, how much does this cost if you can get it for RRP?
I backed this for $100, and I think that's what they're going for RRP, if you can find that somewhere. So yeah, definitely don't spend any more than that. In the meantime, just spend like 20 quid on the digital game, and it'll get you set up.
If you like that, you'll know that you'll like this.
Yeah.
I guess.
I will say, I'm so glad we tried the game first, where everything is managed for you. Yeah. And then, because then when we come to the board game, where it's like, you're setting up all these maps and you're setting up all these systems and things. We were like, oh, okay, this is this game's equivalent of this mechanic, and we know sort of what we're doing.
You get like an hour into FrostHaven, you're like, oh no, I want to start again. It's like, you can't. You've used 20 stickers.
Aaron at one point was like, oh, I might make a new character, and I was like, this is a very This is a very rickety house of cards we've got set up right now. We're not touching any of this for another couple of sessions,
You need to be like, oh, the new board game comes out, build another wing of the manor,
Yeah, exactly, we
had the Gloomhaven room, we had the Frosthaven room, and now we have the Firehaven room.
Yeah.
They unlock they provide a new map for DLC and just provide the stapler with it, so you can staple it onto the side. Sounds cool,
the most. It's so good. The most stressful thing is, so you only get like this big board, right? And the board is really nice.
That's a nice board.
It's a nice board. It's such a nice board. It's got some great art on it. And then we'll unlock a scenario, and it'll be like, stick this little. Oh, look, there's an island out in the ocean. Go and stick that down. And then me and Aaron will both be there, like, sweat pouring off our foreheads as we're like slowly laying this sticker. Like, you gotta line it up with that little boat over there. You see it? She's like, yeah, I see the boat. And we're just like,
oh, there's a bubble in the middle of the sticker. You gotta try again. Fuck.
And then the worst part, because the map folds, right? As if you're ever gonna put it away.
Yeah.
So some of the stickers will be like it will be like a sticker, but it's just like split down the middle, right? And then you peel it off and you're like, oh fuck, we got a crease sticker, and then you've got to try and put the first bit down and then match the top part to the bottom part. You're like, oh, I can't do it. I'm not gonna look.
So not only is it FrostHaven, this deep RPG game, but it's also a game of fucking operation as you're trying to meticulously put down all these pieces without going mad.
Yeah, I would 100%. If you can get hold of the digital game of Gloomhaven, I'd recommend it, because it's like, I think you say like, oh, it's the digital version of a board game, which is going to turn people off, I think, on principle, right? It's I think that has I think less people would be into that than are really into it. I think that's like more of a negative.
It's a hard way to sell it that way, because like a lot of games that are really fun essentially are digital card games, right? It's like
I
think like just off the top of my head, something like Slay the Spire, right? Which is such a fun game, but ultimately that could just be like a card game and a board game.
Yeah, and it's always like what if you played Hearthstone, but you had to do everything, and it's like, well, that doesn't sound very fun.
Yeah.
But I think just saying it's like the digitization of a board game is doing it a disservice, because I think this is just one of the most fun RPGs I've played in a really long time.
That's good.
There's so much room for like character building and just like storytelling and stuff, just within nothing more than like a deck of cards and your one character. It's fantastic.
That's cool, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it, because when you came out and like said, "Oh, I'm talking about FrostHaven today," I started googling it. I was like, what is this? Like, there's no game here. This is a board game. Okay, it's a board game. We'll just talk about a board game for 15 minutes. It's fine. But...
Hey, I mean, I backed this like 8 years ago. I'm very glad I'm enjoying it as well. It's been a long time coming.
All right, I'm gonna snatch the spotlight and talk about what I've been playing. I think I was saying again earlier how everything I've played right now is kind of like, it's quite surface, but I can talk a little bit about Bayonetta 3. Because I have started that.
You finally started it.
I've started it. I'm probably like 4 or 5 hours in, maybe a little bit less.
You're basically done.
basically, no, it's a lot longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I think I'm like a third of the way in. But at this point, I've got an idea of like what the game is, right?
Yeah.
I've played Bayo 1 and Bayo 2. Massive fan of those games. I think those games are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And this one so far has been really, really great. The story is a bit odd. If I told you the story is based around what every, like, you know, what's the modern day trope in pop culture right now for stories? If I just throw it out there, anyone guess?
Bayonetta has a story?
Of course it does. But I mean, like, the story is very similar to what a lot of pop culture stuff is doing right now. So,
evil version of the protagonist is evil. No,
you're close.
Evil sister, evil sibling.
No, you're getting too attached to evil.
Oh, sorry.
It's multiverse.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, like, I feel like a lot of stuff these days is all like multiverse.
Yeah, I should have gone with multiverse. Yeah, that was an obvious one.
And this is kind of similar. When it started doing it, I was like, "Oh, okay, we'll see where this goes." It turns out it's really fucking cool. It's like essentially this isn't spoilers because it's like from the get-go. Basically, you're Bayo going to a bunch of different realities and meeting and playing as other Bayonettas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's actually you can kind of see it in this image here. There's like one over here with like long pink hair, and there's one over here to the left. And it's like they're basically the same, but they have different hair and different weapons, like on their arms and feet. Like Bayo has her guns, right?
Yeah.
And the first one you meet is like it's a Bayonetta with bubblegum pink hair in a ponytail with yellow lipstick and yo-yos on her feet and hands. And it's like,
that's
okay,
sick.
fine, that's cool, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that's badass.
and I was playing it, and I was like, you meet her, and I was like, oh, okay, this is really cool. I like her design. And then the camera swivels around, you start like playing as her, and I was like, oh, fuck, this is really cool.
That does sound pretty cool.
It's really good. So what I've played so far, it's really, really fun. The combat. If you ever played like the first two, or if you've played like Devil May Cry or something like that, you know kind of what to expect. It's character action, which is the closest thing to a single player fighting game, basically. The key parts to I'll play a trailer in the background. The key parts to Bayo are basically it's something called Witch Time, which is if you do a perfect dodge, everything slows down and you can do like, you know, more combos and stuff. That's a big thing. And other than that, it's like your Devil May Cry stuff of like weapon swapping and just like doing combos. There's 50 million different like combos you can do and things like that, and it's just really fun to string different things together.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe what makes it so good without playing. It just feels incredible to play. It feels so fluid. It's so much fun. But this one's a little bit more open than the first two, from what I remember. I remember at least the first one was very like corridory.
Yeah, they were just like straight end-to-end levels, right? Maybe a bit of deviation.
These ones are a bit more open-ended, which is quite nice. You can venture around a little bit and find secret fights and like secret areas and stuff. So that's pretty fun. And the big difference in this one compared to the other ones is the weapons give you like a demon form. You can kind of see it in this trailer if you're watching. She occasionally turns into like a monster kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, really enjoying this. I don't think like playing it to completion will change like much from, you know, I'll get new weapons and stuff, but like I know what the game is.
You know
You know what the gist is.
Yeah. So I have I was gonna say I have a couple questions. Is the voice actress change noticeable?
So if I didn't know that she had changed, I honestly don't think I would have noticed. It's frighteningly close. There's been like no lines where I'm like, ooh, that doesn't sound like Bayo, or that sounds weird. It's just it's Bayonetta. It's like it's English sounding woman being like, come to mummy, and then like shooting people. it's like it's just
fucking nailed it.
It's like
Did you do the voice acting?
I did. That was me.
Got that one quiet.
But it's like Bayonetta. I feel like is more her character than the voice. I think
Yeah.
It's like she's acting a certain way, so even if her voice is slightly different, it's like, no, it's it's Bayonetta. You can't notice.
Yeah, it's the game is so out there with its style. It's like,
yes.
Do you remember the voice? Not really. I remember that she turns into hair. And
yeah, I remember when
guns for her toes.
Yeah, there's just the parts. There's parts in this so far that I've seen where the whole like come to mummy thing like isn't a joke. Like that line has been said so far, and I'm not even far in. There's other stuff like you fight like a big werewolf thing, and like she slaps a big leash on it and starts like stamping on its face, going like "Calm down, boy." And, like it's so good. I think every time I play this, because I'm playing it in kind of like short bursts. Outside the gameplay, the cutscenes and like all the choreography in the cutscenes and stuff like that, it's incredible. I've always got like a big smile from ear to ear because it's just fun. Like everything, like you can tell the people that make these games just have so much fun with this character and these games because it's just like, what can we make Bayonetta do this time? I don't know. There was one scene I saw that I've played where you fight an enemy in an office, and she jumps into an office chair and starts spinning around the room in an office chair, shooting in all directions. It's just like it's just weird shit like that. Like every single fight, it's so good.
I was gonna say, well, you've got a trailer on in the background,
yes,
and I just keep seeing Bayonetta like dancing half naked.
Oh, the game is like, it's weird because like
you've got the censored mode on, right?
Oh, obviously not. But it's not like sexy, if that makes sense. It's like it wears what it's doing like on its wrist, right? It knows what it's doing. It's like a woman with long legs, half naked, dancing around. But it always feels like a character, right? It doesn't feel like it's like thirsty. I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's just Bayonetta. It's just like it's almost funny. I find.
I think it's like it's like so over the top.
Exactly.
It along with everything else that's happening on the screen, it just sort of flies right by me. It's not even worth commentating.
You don't even notice. There's another mechanic that they've got in this one is Bayo can make like demon packs to summon like skyscraper-sized demons, and they fight for you whilst she's just like in the foreground. And because you're focused on the big monster you're summoning and the moves that it's doing, you don't notice that just in like the bottom left corner, kind of, like in this. Did you see that there in the video?
Yes,
she's just naked.
She's just half naked dancing. But I'm watching the monster fight because I'm controlling it. But she's just there, just like dancing half naked. And it's like you don't even realize. But it's just like
the whole thing is it's like her clothes is her hair, right? So
yes,
the reason that she's dancing around naked is because she's now doing something absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's just like there'll be a big demon that'll appear, and you'll be like, "Oh, how will Bayo solve this one?" And she'll stand there and go like, and all her clothes disappear, and a big monster comes out the floor, and it's like, I love this. This is so much fun. It's just brilliant. It just does not take itself seriously in the slightest, but that's not like a bad thing. It works really well for the game, I think. The same way, like, when you play DMC5, like, Dante is just like a big memester, and he's always just like, haha, showtime. Ugh. It's just like, these games know what they're doing. It's just fun. It's just fun. So
I think it's not like not every game needs to be high art. Sometimes you want to watch a half-naked woman dance around while a giant kaiju slaps some demons. It's just
basically,
it's just life, you know. Sometimes that's what you want.
And it helps when the gameplay is just really, really good. I'm playing on the hardest mode because I've played tons of these games, so kind of like I feel like when you know how they work, it's like I don't want it to be like par for the course. I want a bit of a challenge, so I'm playing on hard mode. It's putting up a decent fight. I haven't really struggled yet. But usually it's just like, you know, I had the witch time where you dodge a move and then everything slows down. The game is typically you dodge a move to get slowed down, and then the combos you can just freestyle. Like, I'm not memorizing combos. It's more like I'll do punch, 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 kick, punch, and that's one combo string. It's like, well, I'll try something different. I'll do kick, punch, and something different will come out. It's like, monster dies regardless. But yeah, really, really fun. Having a lot more. I knew I was going to have like a lot of fun with it, but it's just been so good. It's one of those things where it's been out for a while now, I think.
It was like October last year or something?
I think so, yeah. And it's one of those games where as I'm playing it, I'm like, oh, why have I not played this sooner? It's just like, why have I left this as long as I have? It's just a lot of fun. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing, really. Other than that, another game, I said I've like started a lot of stuff. I started Cyberpunk, but haven't gotten far in that at all. Like, I can't even talk about that yet. I've done the intro. And I had, that part in Skyrim where you leave the cave and it's like, you can do whatever. And you go like, I'm just going to turn it off.
Oh, yeah.
I had that with Cyberpunk where I got past the intro and it was like, so, where do you want to go now? It's like,
yeah, it's like, all right, commitment time.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to play RuneScape.
Which, by the way, is almost similar in like, right, well, off you go.
Yeah, but I'm in deep with RuneScape,
number go up in that game.
Yeah, number go up. Oh god, I'm addicted to a number go up game. That's a Will meme.
Oh, don't. I've been dabbling with Genshin again.
Again? Oh no. Oh, admitting it is the first step of the problem, so.
Well, since we're all admitting to games that we're playing again, I'm playing Tarkov again.
Oh no.
They're very similar vibes. Genshin and Tarkov.
Genshin is Russian, right?
Yeah.
What's your vice, Steve?
Oh, I don't know. I've been playing a little bit of League, but
that's bad enough. That'll do. Yeah, that's fine. That counts.
Are you two done with WoW at this point? I don't want to get into big WoW.
I'm still playing some WoW.
Yeah.
So we had 2 days a week for raiding.
Yeah.
But the second day seems to have been a Sunday, and I made it very clear that I can't do Sundays, but that's when it's best for everyone else. So
yeah,
that just is what it is.
Yeah, at that point, like, if everyone wants to do Sunday and you can't, what can you do?
But hopefully, because we've cleared normal and we blasted through heroics. We only raid for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And on our first attempt on heroic, we got 6 bosses of 8 down. So on our second attempt, you would think that we would get faster and better.
Yeah.
But that's today.
All right.
So hopefully we're just going to skip going to normal going forward. But we'll see how that goes.
You should all just come play RuneScape. RuneScape's popping
now,
off.
I'm really enjoying WoW, man. I'm really enjoying it. Have you been raiding, Steve? I saw you in the vault the other day.
If LFR counts as raiding, then yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely does not.
Because I dropped you a message the other day on Friday, and I don't think you saw it. Because I put it in guild chat. It was in guild chat. It wasn't to you personally. But we were raiding, and it was basically like we had like 22 people. So I was like, we've got this many people. We may as well just take everyone and anyone.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise it. Message me next time because I probably would have joined.
Yeah. No worries. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to some news. There's I was talking about this before, in the group chat before we started. A lot of news this week is just like it's stuff closing down, which is kind of like a weird
sad
thing. It's kind of
couple weeks for gaming.
I was like, what's all the exciting news coming out? It's like, this is dead. This is closing down. This is cancelled.
In chat.
Yeah, we'll start with probably one of the biggest one, or the biggest one. It is. Let's just tab. This is Stadia. Officially,
Stadia is the biggest one.
I mean, like it's essentially like a console, right? Might not have been the most.
We knew that was shutting down. That wasn't like dead.
Okay. So yeah, we knew it was shutting down. But now it has actually gone. Like it's in the graveyard. It is no more. I think it's really weird to see, like, headlines like Stadia is officially dead when it still feels like a bunch of other companies are still working towards trying to do what Stadia was doing. Like xCloud for Xbox. and the Amazon one. What's it called? Amazon Luna? I think it's called Luna. But yeah, Google Stadia is officially dead. So we spoke about it before, but all the refunds and everything. That's that one. Did anyone here actually ever try Stadia?
Nope.
No.
The closest I got was I think they sent me an email about streaming to browser.
Yeah.
As like a test. And then I saw that and I went, I should sign up for that. And then I never got around to it. And I never tested it.
Apparently the one good thing that's come out of it is that anyone that did have Stadia, they just have the controller, which is pretty cool. I don't know if the controller's any good or if it will be supported much down the line. But that's
they just said it's now just a Bluetooth controller. Right?
Just,
you can use it with
just
anything.
Keep it. Fuck it. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see where cloud gaming goes in the future, because it might be one of those things where it was just a little bit too early. We've had that before, right? With certain things where it's like you were just too early, man.
Because like game streaming, as latency comes down, right, and internet infrastructure gets better, we must be heading to a game streaming kind of point, because right? Where it becomes completely viable.
Yes.
I mean, maybe they did the math. I mean, Google would know, right? And some of the people in there going, if we want to properly, like, it's going to be like 9 years before this thing even starts breaking even. Like, it's just not worth it.
Well, it's like every time, because I've had Xbox Game Pass Ultimate quite a few times, which comes with the streaming, like the xCloud service, which works on mobile. And every time I've tried it, I've been like, this is an amazing concept. It just doesn't work on any internet connection that I try, whether it's my own Wi-Fi, on a hotspot, on like my old work Wi-Fi that was really fast. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
And it's like this should be like the easiest slam dunk ever. If I can turn my mobile on during a dead 5 minutes and boot up, fucking Banjo-Kazooie or something on xCloud and play for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like
it's the dream we all share. Yeah. Well, I think
it just doesn't work.
I think part of the problem is the people who really care about this and are in a position to make use of it right now already have their big beefy PCs and setups, and it's like they don't care. Why would you care? The people, the tech people who are going to be really into this already have their 4090s on pre-order or whatever, and they absolutely do not care about playing Assassin's Creed Mirage at 200 ms latency or whatever. It's there's just no market for that right now.
But the idea for those people could be, I guess, then that you have your Steam library or your Xbox library or whatever, and it's like you're away somewhere, you can now just stream that with zero latency on your phone or on a tablet or on any other PC across the world.
Yeah, but they don't go out.
That is true.
But, no, but I know, but it's the same. But then that's the same problem is you need this perfect setup, right? But because the second you go outside and start running it over Starbucks down the road's Wi-Fi, it just doesn't. It just shits the bed. It's like, well, I guess I could go home and do this, but then I've got there's my Xbox right there. There's my PC.
Yeah.
It's like I don't need it here, do I?
Every single like promotion you see for anything that's like cloud gaming or anything, it's like someone on a bus or someone on a train or like and if I connect to train Wi-Fi on my phone, I can't even load a fucking web page. Let alone like trying to play Crisis 4 at like 60 frames per second. It's just not going to happen.
I can't look up Google Maps about the city that I'm in from the coffee shop where I am. There's no way I'm gonna be able to play
literally as you go around even like any big city, at least I've seen in the UK, and there's like hotspot here, connect to the internet, connect to BT internet or connect to blah blah internet. It's slower than my 4G or my 5G. It's like why do you exist? You're a trick. But it's like you say, like, but like the idea of it is really cool. Is it just too early? Because even if Stadia was alive right now, and someone said like, you're gonna get Stadia. I'll just look at it and be like, it won't work for me. Like, my internet isn't. I haven't even got bad internet. It's just it could never do those sorts of things.
It's also a thing where it's like the more they mess up, or not even mess up, but the more shots they have at it now before it's ready, is just gonna make it harder when Stadia 2 comes out 10 years from now, and everyone's gonna be like, you all right? You tried this before. What was the other one? The OnLive? Do you remember that one?
Oh god, OnLive, yeah.
What is OnLive?
OnLive was, I can't tell you who owned it. I typed in Olive. OnLive. It's no way is it still around. Is it still around? No.
This
is the logo. Yeah, after 5 years of uninterrupted service, the online game service comes to an end. Respect to them for keeping the webpage up.
But they're selling all the source code. We could have a crack at it.
We could do our own cloud service.
I'll let people just borrow my PC.
You want to just like play my Steam library?
It's one person can use it at a time.
That's so funny.
Oh, my shitty internet. Oh my god.
That's discontinued as of 2015.
Yeah.
There was another one. I can't remember what it was called, so I can't even Google it. It was called Shadow something. And I think it was basically, it was like a virtual machine, right? Because you got all these like because OnLive is just like, here's a system where you can play whatever. But I think this other one that might still be going was just like, like log in. Here's a PC with a 3080 in it and a Steam library that's just full. Just what do you want to do? Just like
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Shadow the Hedgehog, and I only ran. He could only play Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, you can only play Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah, you go for the Shadow service, and it comes with a gun, just like Shadow wanted. Depending on where the market goes, this might have just been too early. So it's a bit of a shame. Speaking of dead stuff, as I said, we have a theme this week. Ubisoft is just cancelling stuff left, right, and
every
centre.
month.
Seven games in 7 months.
What's up, Ubisoft? What's going on?
I saw apparently there was like a leaked internal memo where they were like, "We've had to cancel stuff." This is from like the main guy. I can't remember what his name is. But where he's like, "Oh yeah, this year's going to be important, so we really need everyone to put their best. This is going to be." That was
Eve. He sent
put your best foot forward.
It was an internal email to everyone who worked at Ubisoft, and he said, "This is all. It's up to you guys to pull us all around." It's like, all right.
Yeah, it's like, is it up to them?
I think this Eve is not very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also the crux to the story is they had 3 cancellations, I think, and then they did another 4. And they, as well as also doing that, they also pushed back Skull and Bones again to 2024. The Skull and Bones things is, it's almost not embarrassing. It's not the right word, but like, just let it die. Just push it out and let it die. Just get it out, rip the Band-Aid off. Because
I don't know what they're doing there. Because you think the longer, it's like, is it just like 4 people left in the Skull and Bones office, and they keep shifting them around, and no one gets a chance? And because it's like they can't just be a studio on basically standby. Just
it feels like the routine now with Skull and Bones is it gets a release date, and then every sort of 5 to 6 months they put out a trailer, and then the whole gaming community goes, "Is that it?" And then the Skull and Bones devs go, "Oh my god, you're right," and they delay it. And then it's like
they must know, right? I don't know.
And then like 4 more months. Here's another trailer. Like, is that it? No, delayed.
Here's every game Ubisoft released in 2022. In the entirety of last year, they released that Mario and Rabbids game.
Yes.
They released Just Dance 2023 edition. A bit of DLC for Assassin's Creed, and Rainbow Six Extraction. And that's basically it. The entire year for all of Ubisoft. That's pretty...
Ubisoft is massive, by the way.
What's up? Yeah, Ubisoft. You okay?
I didn't put it in the releases this week, but I think this is the week where a lot of stuff is from Ubisoft is going onto Steam as well.
Okay, so just re-releases of their stuff.
Yeah, like Breakpoint, I think, is one of them.
But yeah, so amongst the cancellations, you've got Ghost Recon Frontline, Splinter Cell VR, and there was an NFT game that was cancelled as well, like Project Q or something. I can't remember the name of it. It's not in this article, but that was cancelled as well. They also said that Mario and Rabbids didn't live up to sales expectations, which I think I kind of get. I think the first one, despite it being really good, I think it came out at a really good time. It was really early in the Switch's life, I think.
Yeah.
And it was just like really early in the Switch's life. Here's this kind of weird game that no one expected, and it ended up like being really fun. And then they made a sequel to it. It's kind of like it's still good, but like
I wonder though, is that the sales expectations that it would cover for the entirety of Ubisoft's bottom line for last year? It's like this is it. This has to basically cover the entire studio for 2022. Like
this entire Ubisoft ship is like Titanic, right? It's half sticking out the water, like vertical, and they're like, Rabbids has to save this ship.
They've got a rabbit at the wheel.
Oh yeah, it's just some rabbit at the wheel, like banana. It's like, oh god, we're fucking doomed. Yeah, Ubisoft is. I think everyone always says like but I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla apparently did like stupidly well, so that's still going strong.
Yeah.
Which
no surprises there.
Yeah, but that kind of, if you remember, like the headline list, 7 cancellations in 7 months. It's all going to shit. They just had that massive conference of like 50 million Assassin's Creed properties coming out soon.
Yeah.
So that it might just be like weird the Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six Siege company.
And Just Dance does very well all the time.
Apparently not. It was both that and Rabbids didn't live up to sales expectations.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. A lot of my favorite franchises are Ubisoft franchises, and it feels like they can't find a groove at the moment. I don't know.
Yeah, they feel like they're in a bit of a slump.
Yeah.
They have all these like massive properties that I feel like you could just utilize, right? You could just throw out a Splinter Cell game or a Ghost Recon game that's not going to set the world on fire. It's not going to be a live service game, but it will recoup its costs and give validation to that franchise, right? It's fine. Not every game has to make $1 trillion, but I feel like that's the way they see it, right?
That's like the problem right now is all they're doing is releasing these AAA super expensive projects, right? And it's like these have to do well or
exactly
Ubisoft fail. It's like you're banking all of your chips on this one thing. Yeah.
It's like Beyond Good and Evil 2, now the longest developed game of all time, still with no release date in sight, and they're like, oh, you want to go to different planets and and it's going to be this. It's just fucking just make a game. I don't care.
They need more like they were doing like Ubisoft originals a little while back, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was like Child of Light was the one that got pushed everywhere. That was pretty good.
They had an engine called UbiArts, and that's what Child of Light was made in, and it's what those Rayman games were made in. Rayman Legends and Rayman Origins. And that's a side of Ubisoft that I really miss.
Yeah,
because those Rayman games were really, really good. They were a solid, like 12-hour long platformer that looked amazing. Some of the best artists in the industry working at Ubisoft, making just an awesome looking platformer. But now it feels like the Ubisoft of now would be like, oh well, we can't make $1 trillion, so I don't care. It's like, I can't. Just make a game. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. It's sad. Like there's obviously so many super talented people at Ubisoft, and they're like chained to making another Assassin's Creed or another, which clearly aren't capturing people the same way they used to. And it's like, just let them make them do. We can give them other things. Give them smaller projects.
It's like I've said before that like no one sets out to make a bad game. You so many tens of thousands of man hours go into any individual project. No one is there trying to make something bad.
Yeah.
And games in particular, in terms of programming and art, require some of the strictest deadlines and some of the most finesse programming to make stuff work on these basic PCs. Basically like a console, just like a shitty PC. And it's just like, I feel like Ubisoft, they're just being pushed into this template that just clearly is not really working. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's odd. Because these people get paid a lot of money to make these decisions. They, no one's stupid. They must see this happening. They must, I wonder if, because obviously games take so long to make, you might see in 2 to 3 years a different side of Ubisoft that starts doing what we're saying.
Yeah. And the pandemic's going to have screwed up all the timelines anyway. So it's like a lot of these things we're seeing, these happened either before or during the pandemic when it was the landscape was different. Yeah.
It's also tricky though, because on the opposite side of that coin, I'm saying you should do this with the studios and you should do these games and this isn't working, but all it takes is one live service game to take off. And that's insane money, right? Which is, and that's probably what's pushing this style of development, is chasing the Warzone money, the Apex money, the Genshin money, the Candy Crush money.
I guess. It's like the Respawn, right? They hit big with Apex, and now it's like, oh, they're fine. Now they've got Apex in the back pocket. They've always got that to fall back on. But Ubisoft has games like that, but I guess they're not.
What
enough
Siege,
anymore?
Siege is on what, year 8 at this point?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You posted the other day, Steve. What you posted the cosmetics in one of your Discords. What year are they on? Is it 7? It's 7 or 8 or something.
I think they're 7.
That's getting on, right? It's like the idea of going back to Siege now. I'm just kind of oh, no, I've played Siege. I've done Siege. Give me Siege 2 or give me something different.
I was gonna say, I feel like we need either a Siege 2 or for them to be we've revamped everything.
Yeah, but I guess Siege probably still makes a ton of money anyway. So
yeah.
Anyway, we're kind of going in circles a little bit with this, so we'll move on. But speaking of dead things. Final update.
You can't keep using that one.
I actually can, and I actually will, so be quiet. Final update on the future of Marvel's Avengers. So, I think everyone kind of knew this was going to come at some point. But the Avengers game is officially shutting its doors on development.
See, to me, this is the biggest one because I'm it's the Avengers. Marvel's doing so well.
I feel like the discussion on how has this happened in the first place has been had around the internet.
Yes.
And now, like I said, it was gonna die. I think people kind of knew. They had that one last saving grace of what was it, a Black Panther DLC pack or something?
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of didn't go anywhere.
But then, they should have, I know this is on Xbox, but they should have given it out on free on Epic Games Store, made it to tune down the monetization to be this scummy release Spider-Man on PC. They could have done more to try save this game before just killing it off.
I'm not sure about the DLC, but this is on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass, but it's game. I'm not sure. A Game Pass game. I'm I can play it at any point. Whereas if you get it for free on Epic, oh yeah, okay, I own this now.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's when something is because I've fallen victim to that exact same line of thought with this game in particular, where I've always wanted to check it out, and then because it came to all these Game Pass saves, I was oh, I'll just play it at some point.
Yeah.
I'll do the TLDR of this very quickly. So yeah, Avengers is currently a live service game based around Marvel's Avengers, and it's kind of like level based with gear score. And I think there are 12 heroes, and you play through levels, level up, get more abilities, gear, and you repeat it. But
your favorite gameplay
my
loop.
favorite loop. But the official confirmation now is the final update for the game will be update 2.8 in March, and then that's the last time they're going to officially touch it in terms of content, and then full development stops in September of this year, and that means bug fixes, official support, online support, everything just stops. They have said that because of this, when the last update comes out in March, all in-game cosmetics, the stuff that you, as of right now, still have to buy with real money, they're giving to every player for free. Which is pretty cool. It does kind of set a deadline. Like, if you do want to check this game out, or if you have had it on the back burner, end of March this year is a really good time to have a look, because everything in that game will be in it for you to play, which is...
Except for Spider-Man.
Except for Spider-Man, yeah. Okay, so the kicker is all this time, Spider-Man has been exclusive to the PlayStation version, and even after this, all said and done, Spider-Man is still locked to the PlayStation version of the game.
That's a Sony thing, innit? That's a Sony deal. They have no... they have no, reason to...
That's clearly a contract that has no time on it. No time attached to it.
Yeah. Is this the kind of... Is it still going to be live once this is shut down? It's online.
It is, yeah. So for,
only, right?
I had a good read through this, and I looked through all the stuff. So, so as of September, which is the dead date, it's being pulled from all online stores. Obviously, you no longer be able to buy it on Steam, PlayStation Store, wherever. Physical copies will exist in stores whilst there is stock. But that's the last time you'll be able to get it. As of the game itself, you'll still be able to play multiplayer with people. I can only assume that means that the game is peer-to-peer anyway. Because otherwise, how would that make sense if they pull all support, but you can still play online? But no, you can still play online. You can still do everything in the game. It's just they specifically say in a lot of these Q&A stuff, which is just what if after September there's a horrific game-crippling bug? And they're just bottom line, support will end in September.
Yeah.
It's everything stops. If there's a game-breaking bug, too bad. If your save gets corrupted and you lose it, tough, it's gone. But yeah, so March seems to be a good time to check it out if you want to. I hear the story's okay, because it has a campaign.
I think we played this for when it was in beta, right?
I played something. I have touched this game, but I can't remember when or why. Must have been a beta.
The opening on Game Pass, and I did not care for it. I will say.
Yeah.
Never touched this game.
It did not grab me.
It's like we were saying, or like Steve was saying, the conversation of just how does this happen? How do you have the biggest IP in the world and fuck it up? This is gonna fuel YouTube essay writers for decades.
I think it was it you who posted about it, Josh? Being the sad part is that the Suicide Squad game is looking to do
basically
somewhat similar.
So the other side of this coin is basically around the same time as this news story. You have the Suicide Squad game, right? Which at this point I think everyone is kind of aware of. It's been at 3 Game Award shows, a couple of E3s, in everything but gameplay. But there's been one gameplay trailer, I think, really early on. But it's all just look how funny Harley Quinn is and how nice she looks with these graphics, and isn't Boomerang Man funny? And it's just what is this? What is this game? Like, is it a campaign? Is it like, no one knows? But it looks like, at least as of what we know right now, a lot of it is all speculation, right? Because there's no official word. But there's been leaks that this game has battle passes and a whole bunch of different premium currencies, sort of kicking in the background, which without any official word, it makes people panic, right? It makes people worry and go like, is this the same thing again? Like, do you get sold on all these really nice looking trailers and then it's just another gear score loot grind kind of? I don't know. It's like, yeah.
Well, because it's like just Gotham Knights, right? Just came out, and that was like the Batman Arkham B team.
Yes, this is the A team.
That had like gear score and things like that in it, right?
So it had gear score and multiplayer. It didn't have multiplayer. No, I'm making a mistake. I don't think it did have multiplayer.
No, it does have multiplayer.
It does? Okay.
Co-op at least, yeah. And it was always like, well, okay, but the real next Rocksteady, right? That's the the real next Arkham game.
The good developers, not the bad developers.
Yeah, the A team. That's coming out next year, and that will fix everything. And it's like, it's kind of worrying to see, because it's Warner Brothers game studios. They've always been trying to put these kind of extra little monetization bits into single player games, don't they? They did the gacha orc game in Middle Earth.
Oh yeah,
was it Shadow of Mordor?
Shadow of Mordor had the orc marketplace man that would try and like sell you level ups and stuff, and he would like rub his hands together as you put a tenner in to get more stuff. And it's like, oh no. And then Mortal Kombat 11 as well was just kind of fucking gross with all its like.
Oh yeah, that was like, people worked it out. MK11 was like, there's like $8,000 worth of microtransactions.
MK11 is everything Warner Brothers tends to touch just gets covered in slime, and it's not a good time. It's sad because it's like, even if everything is cosmetic, right? It's just like, well, I've just bought MK11 for like 60 quid. Why can't I have Scorpion wear that mask? It's like, I've got to pay more.
Yeah, It's as long as the game is good, right?
Yes,
I can deal with some of this stuff, but it is when it gets super egregious, like with the buying level ups and more powerful gear and stuff in Mordor. I'm always like, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth when I'm done playing, and I'm like, I don't look back fondly on those games particularly. I had a good time.
I think the issue is with something like this, if you really want to ram that much monetization down a player's throat after making them buy the game for full price, your game has to be fucking spotless. It has to be like amazing.
Yeah.
And that ultimately is where a lot of these games just fail. It's kind of loop back around to the Avengers question, where it's like, how do you fuck this up? It's like, well, you make a kind of average game with a shitload of monetization.
Yeah.
And ultimately, even if it's Iron Man being, smarmy or whatever, and it's like, cool. It's like, but the game's not fun. The game's not fun. Then you try and make me buy a skin for a tenner when I'm done. It's like, I'm just going to go play, Apex or something, which has tons of monetization, but the game is really, really fun or something. Just that's where these live service games fail. Everyone rags on Fortnite, but like, if you ever actually play like Fortnite, it's a really fun game.
Yeah.
And it's like I say, it's just like, a lot of the time it feels like they think of the monetization model first, and then go like, oh, this model is sick, right? What game do we wrap around it? Like, what do we have? We haven't made a Batman game in a while. Yeah, we could do. Oh, it's gonna be 4-player. What can we do? Oh, we could do Suicide Squad. Yeah. Do Suicide Squad.
Well, it almost feels like, these studios are going along making their game, and then somebody comes in and goes like, okay, we figured out how we're doing monetization in this game, and they're like, okay, we got to do a store, we got to do this, and like every time it doesn't work, they're like, oh, people did not like that. We'll try something different next time, and then they disappear. It's like you got to pick up all the pieces. Yeah.
Well, it's the problem with game dev in particular is typically as soon as a project ends, a lot of people just scram and go all over the place. And the people collectively, say hypothetically, you have a project that does ultimately really poorly. That team then splits up and goes 20 different directions across the world to different studios, at which point they're only a fraction of a new team that can't make big decisions. And it's like, if you're a programmer that's just worked on a bad monetization, you leave that project, go work for a different studio, and then you see that same studio doing it again, but you're one of 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we should do this. All right, why don't you just go back to fucking programming the options screen over there? Just shut up and do your job.
Yeah.
So it's tricky, but you would hope that collectively there's been enough. This has been attempted so many times. There's enough research in the open as to how to do things and how not to do things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess this game's had quite a few delays, right? I think, or it's maybe.
No, I think it got delayed once, didn't it?
Okay. I think like when a game keeps getting delayed, that can be signs of like, okay, maybe they are actually trying to at least do the best they can. If they want it to have the best chance out the door, I don't know. Have to wait and see, I guess. But
I'm excited. It's Rocksteady. They make good games for the most part.
DC just doesn't do much for me, I've got to admit.
But I think their games are so strong. I'm the same. I didn't really like DC, but then you play something like Arkham Asylum, and you're like, well, I don't really care about Batman, but this is a really fucking good game.
Arkham Asylum was really good, but that was what, like 15 years ago or something now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all the Arkham games are good.
Couldn't get into Night. Just couldn't for some reason. I did Asylum and Arkham City.
Yeah.
And then Night was the third one.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I just couldn't get into that one. Unfortunately,
fair, you played a lot of them. I skipped City, so I was
there you
all ready to. Maybe 3 is too many of those games.
You gonna say something, Steve? What are you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say I think with it's less like a DC game for Suicide Squad. It's a Harley Quinn game. Let's face it. That's all people care about.
Yeah, I think it's kind of it's interesting to see like Harley Quinn's rise to be, I think possibly like one of the not the most, if not one of the most popular DC characters now.
Oh yeah, 100% easily. It's their most recognizable, like almost more than Batman, I'd argue at this.
That's what I was saying. It's just like I was going to say the most popular, but it's like is she more popular? But she might be.
I was going to say, but I think also like it's getting to the point where I'm like, oh, it's Harley Quinn again. Can we not have another character like be as cool as Harley?
But that's how I feel a lot of the time about like, oh, it's fucking Thor again.
See. I with Marvel, I'm the opposite, where I'm like, oh, for Iron Man, I'm like, they're so boring. Like, I like all the side characters in Marvel, but like in DC, I'm not sure I've not watched his latest Suicide Squad movie and stuff, but I wish that it was more highlighted other characters rather than just Harley Quinn constantly.
I mean, they do what sells, right?
Here's the thing with DC versus Marvel is because Marvel has so many other characters going on, I get like less fatigue with them.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I'm going Iron Man, Thor, Iron Man, Thor. I'm going like Iron Man, blah, 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 Iron Man. Whereas with DC, it's quite literally a Batman, Batman...
Yeah,
we trying Superman again? Oh no, Superman's still not working. Batman.
I get what you mean, because it does kind of feel like DC is this loop of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. Oh, we fucked it up. Start again. Batman, Superman, Aquaman.
Yes,
and it's like a revolving door of actors having a go at those roles. And
it's always
and then, like
Yeah, you go for it.
Well, I was gonna say, and then like one, we've had like 8 Batmans or whatever in the last 10 years or something, and like one works. Like everybody likes this Robert Pattinson one. It's like, right, we're going with that one. All right, start again. This guy,
And the
he's
funny
getting a
thing is
sequel.
as well is the previous Batmans, I think, have been great. Like the actual Batman portrayal as well as Joker portrayal. But the movies themselves, I'm like, is it a good movie?
Yeah, well,
You know what I mean?
It's Ben Affleck, right? Like he's great. Even if he's wearing a Batman suit, he's pretty good. But he's just in not a very good movie. Same with like oh fuck, what's his name? Superman, old Superman now. Henry Cavill, yeah. Again,
I think you're going before then.
No.
DC kind of felt like for a while they couldn't really nail that whole DCU thing. So like, okay, we're gonna step back and make maybe individual movies that are just really good. So they made Joker and that newer Batman movie, and then they're like, "Wait, no, you really like these? Okay, DCU idea again. This is Joker 2."
yeah, no, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
just give me Nightwing.
Is it Nightwing's?
We're so many steps away from Nightwing.
I know, bro. Like my favorite superhero characters of all time are like Nightwing and Green Lantern. Do you know how far away we are from me getting either of those?
You want like DCU Phase 5 characters when they can't even get 2 movies out in a row.
It's like there's someone out there that was like, my favorite superhero is Shang-Chi, and like that guy.
His time has come.
Yeah.
That's like when I boot up Marvel Snap, which I still do sometimes, not as much as I used to, and it will be like new card, Devil Dinosaur, and I'm like, that's someone's favorite comic book character, and they're just waiting for the day the Devil Dinosaur movie gets announced. Like,
you can go back to the first Avengers movie, and like a guy's like, "Oh, I hope they do Shang-Chi," and the response to that at the time is like, "You're insane."
Yeah.
You're never getting Shang-Chi. Like Ant-Man, shut up. You're never getting Ant-Man. Don't be daft. This is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's take a ride away from superhero stuff. And this news story, this next one is a bit odd. This is Factorio getting a price increase in response to inflation. Do any of you know about this? Because
because you told me about it like a week ago.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like this, as far as I'm aware, has never been done before for this reason. Like,
yeah, I was just say I know price increase from like Temtem, where it was like everything. It was in early access, and every single time they added a new island, they're like, it's going up by $2 or £2.
So we've had early access increases.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had general price increase from just, new games. Like, it's not uncommon now that a new game is 70 quid as opposed to 50 if you're on console.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first one for a game that has been out for a very long time now. Factorio is like 4 years old or something.
Yeah.
I will say we've had this also similar with MMO subscriptions, mostly World of Warcraft, being like, we're putting the price up in your region because.
But again, that's an ongoing service, right? Whereas this game is just out. This game is done, and they're like, inflation. It was $30, and now it's $35. Which I feel like a lot of this story flies under the radar because Factorio is just a really good game. But any other game that did this would get absolutely lit on fire. Or am I going crazy?
I don't think they would. I think it also depends on what price they were moving from.
Yeah.
Like, if a game that's already like 50 quid was like, we're now 70 quid, I think that game gets lit on fire.
Yeah.
To me, though, I also think the people who love Factorio, who have probably already got Factorio, so this is just hurting the Amazonaras who are like, maybe I should. But then also,
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
But then we've also got the thing of like most games now, after a while, they go on to Epic Games Store or Game Pass, and so it's very strange that they're taking the opposite effect of
the Factorio devs.
The price up.
The Factorio devs specifically have always said that their game will never go on sale. They've the game came out. I think as it was early access, it was increasing in price. Like you said with Temtem, as it was getting more stuff, it was going up in price. And then they've just said, like, our game will never go on sale. And now it's gone, it's gone up in price.
To me, that has like an air of arrogance.
It does,
on it.
yes.
And I'm like, that puts me off trying the game when the devs are like, nope, we're not lowering the sale. In actual fact, you have to pay more for it now. I'm like, you can have your stupid game.
I feel like, I think you're right. I think there's almost a way you could word this where I'd be like, okay, you know, fine. If that is what it is, that is how it is. But I think to come from a studio that have notoriously always been kind of, I don't know, maybe like enjoying the smell of their own farts and been like, yeah, our game will never go on sale. And then they're like, because of inflation, it's going up in price. And it's just like, okay.
I like, it's difficult. It's like,
it is difficult. It's not. He's not.
Yeah. The other thing I would like to point out is it's inflation. Like, it affects everyone. I completely understand.
Yeah,
like,
it's tricky. It's
and also I think the reason he's not putting it on sale, right, is because you could buy it early and get it cheap. And he's like, well, I'm not gonna disrespect those people by then putting it on sale later, right? Those early investors, they're the people that supported me when the game was not finished.
But at this point, is it not sales exists because they work, right? Like,
oh yeah, no, I'm saying
degree,
I'm not agreeing with him or disagreeing with him on that point. I think there's a certain like, you know, maintain your price for a while because you want to reward those people who basically kickstarted your game on the cheap, right? But like, but again, it's like another thing where it's like, technically, I can't. There's nothing here I can really disagree with, and the game is just really good. So it's even harder to.
But the idea behind the idea behind a sale is that, you know, you take half price off, but then 3 people that weren't going to buy it now buy it, and you make money. Like,
I'm not saying it's a good strategy, but I'm saying if on principle he's saying, I think this is what I read back in the day was like, we're just not going to put it on sale because we don't want to. Yeah. It cheapens the idea of buying early and kickstarting our game. Then
see, to me that just seems bullshit. Like that seems like just a reason to be like, nope, we're not having it. Like, yeah, it's nice that they gave it to people earlier for cheaper because the game probably wasn't finished back then. But that just is like, can never put this game on sale again because some people bought it earlier, like ages ago. Those people probably would be like, no, we'd like more people to play, like, and enjoy the game, right?
Well, there's also like, just like the proud side of it, right? Where it's just, if you make a game, you sell it for $30, and you're like, well, why would I put it on sale? It's worth $30.
It's worth $30. Yeah.
So I would only buy it if it's $15. It's like, why? It's worth $30.
But we have, as time goes on, people will clone the game. Like, we've got Satisfactory, which is meant to be like this, right, as well, but 3D.
Yeah,
and
they are different.
But no, none of us are like defending him.
Factorio, by the way, is Factorio is the one that people go to when you think of this type of game.
It's almost like I think of it like Metroidvania and things like that. Where if I look at a game with belts in it and factories, I go, "Oh, it's a Factorio game."
Yeah.
I actively would put my stance on. Yes, I think I'd probably defend this decision. I'm just going to put that forward.
See, it's absolutely fine because there's no right or wrong answer, really.
I think in the world where, like, even if it's not like a Factorio clone, there are more and more games, and I'm not sure. I always think put the consumer first.
It's easy to forget that people make games, and it's like people's with inflation and things. It's a tricky topic, like cost of living and stuff, because everyone's got less money, but so do the people making games. It affects everyone.
I do think though I might be okay with the inflation thing if they weren't being funny about never putting a game on sale. And I might be okay with the game never going on sale if they weren't now just being like, oh, we're also increasing the price. I think the two like add together that.
I think I'm the complete opposite.
That doesn't sit right with me.
I have no issue. Like, if they've made the decision, we're never putting this on sale, that is them saying, like, if you don't want to buy our game or you don't think it's worth the money, don't buy it.
Yeah.
We're not going to force you to, but this is what we valued it at, and we're going to stick by that decision.
Yeah.
And I think they are well within their right to do that.
I think they're well within their rights, but it does, as I said, have an air of arrogance, and that is off-putting.
I think ultimately the interesting thing will be is that like I said, if this happens, which it is happening, and it somewhat goes under the radar unscathed, do you think we'll see it elsewhere? Do you think other people will be like, actually,
I think some people will try it.
You know what? Hollow Knight is going up in price by a fiver because inflation.
Everything is going up because of inflation. It's almost weird
again
that video games haven't, you know?
Or no, video games have. It's indie games that haven't.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, that's accurate.
But we're kind of at a weird point with indie games where it used to be like if you were an indie game and you were charging more than 15 quid, it was like
don't bother,
off, mate. Like what? Yeah, what are you thinking? And now,
Mr. Microsoft over here
thinks he's Activision making Call of Duty. But now, like Satisfactory launches and it's like 30 quid, and I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. It's a completely different landscape. Games are going to charge. It's not like games are going to charge what they charge. We're going to get our Vampire Survivors for 2 quid. We're going to get our overpriced Factorio clones for 40 quid, and it's just I don't think. Inflation is going to have a huge bearing on these. Like we're not going to get posts now from all these indie studios like we've increased our price by 10%.
I think there will be a couple who try it, but then I think if it will just take the one game that's going to be, going to get then shit on for it, and then every game will be completely.
I can literally see the scenario in my head where Factorio does this, and they're like, annoying, but it's Factorio, it's great. And then a week later, Temtem does it, and everyone's like, you greedy fucks.
What's like an indie darling at the moment?
Current indie darling? Vampire Survivors.
But Vampire Survivors is already too cheap. I think people
that guy could be like, it's a tenner, and everyone goes, where it should be.
Yeah.
Vampire Survivor dev, if you're listening, please increase your price due to inflation. I feel bad enough already.
I think I've gifted that game like 3 times to people just because I pay more for a fucking sandwich at Tesco's.
Yeah. But like when like an indie darling that's like quite popular at the moment goes up in price, then I think people will start.
Yeah, I think the other thing as well is, like you're saying, prices have gone up, but it's only prices of new releases. Old games have never gone up in price.
Yeah, this is why it's like Uncharted.
They've always
territory.
go down.
They do, yeah. They always go down, and we're now in a gaming landscape where consumers are being taught.
Maybe we realised that was actually a luxury and not a right.
Or not that, but consumers are being taught that you can subscribe to Game Pass for £8 a month and play the new Bethesda game and like every Persona game and.
Oh yeah, mate,
and it's just
that's
like
another story in of itself.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying though, right? And it's like, I'm not saying these games are too expensive. It's just you have this really weird, like imbalance, where it's like, why would I pay 30 quid for Factorio when I could just sub to something or buy Hollow Knight for a tenner, or it's weird.
Yeah.
Well, because that's just what they think their game is worth. I think you got to respect it. Whatever.
I completely.
However you feel about it, it's like they're saying, we used to think it was worth 30 quid. Now 30 quid isn't worth what it's used to be worth.
Yeah,
so now we're making it more expensive. So
you all have
sense.
Played Factorio, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say, I would be interested to see if you had the same opinion on a game that you maybe like haven't played and weren't like invested in.
Well, I think even by that, I would still be fine with it.
No, to be fair, whether you know it or not, we're being biased.
Yeah. Factorio is a great game.
You've always got to take that. So I will concede that point, but at the same time, I still defend it. But I understand. You are right.
Yeah, I still understand their reasoning. I do think, kind of like Steve was saying, I think maybe they could have worded it a bit better. I know it's just like it's almost like the bluntness of it.
To be fair, I've not read the.
It's literally just a tweet that says like Factorio is $30 due to inflation. It will now be $35. It's like
I love it.
It's as to the point as you can actually be.
I love that, but I'm a blunt person. Okay,
it's like every other company would have the social media manager out going like, oh, we're so sorry, but we have to raise we're so sorry. Whereas Factorio is just like almost like it's almost like poetic based on what the game did
over lunch.
Or like how the game is just factories, machinery, pumping out generic stuff. Yeah. It's like the tweet is just we are raising the price due to inflation.
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect logical sense, which is what Factorio is all about. So I'm all about it.
It's directly on brand, basically. Well, that's all the news for the week. Basically, there was we'll race through just the headline really quickly because it is quite big. We haven't got time to cover it. It's about Microsoft having a bunch of layoffs, a whole bunch of layoffs, hitting primarily 343 industries. Because Halo Infinite, it kind of sucks, but we've kicked that horse to death. So
yeah, I was gonna say, isn't Game Pass like doing well or?
Waiting for a new update. They every so often they come out and go like, yeah, it's profitable.
But I think it didn't hit its targets, right? Was the last word, but it was still doing really well.
Yeah, still profitable, but not hitting targets or something like that.
Yeah,
but yeah. But that's it for the week. Do you have upcoming stuff, Steve?
I do. We've got 4 games upcoming.
Nice.
So on January 24th, we have Forspoken.
Oh, damn!
That's quite a big release.
Is that a dragon over there? Crazy. I had this game because I've said before I rent all my games, right? I had this on my rental list and then looked at my rental list and actively took it off. I was like, I don't need to play this. I think at one point I played a demo. Not playing a demo. I'm just like,
it's like on Steam. It's only £65.
Is it day and date? Is it also on Steam the same day? Was it not PlayStation?
And this is the one where the recommended specs are absurd.
Yeah, it's like absolutely a 4090 for like 60 FPS or something stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. This feels like a massive release, and I don't know anyone who's even talking about it or is excited for it.
This is like, when I was saying like Skull and Bones just needs to be thrown out there and get rid of it. This kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like the marketing for Forspoken is really weird. The conversations you see online are really mild and again weird. But it is coming out, and it is out in 2 days.
I feel like we need to like get some reviews and like see how it reviews.
Yeah. So it's out in 2 days, and there's no reviews yet.
They've held review. They haven't sent review codes.
Oh, that's not good. That's never good.
I read that somewhere.
I think
too.
It's like 1 in 4 times when that happens, the game is actually really good. Most of the time, it's just like, yeah, it's okay. Really, really weird. I hope it's really good. Never hope for a game to be bad.
I was gonna say I hope it's a good game and it just like comes out of nowhere and everyone's like, oh yeah, and then it does poorly at launch, so they put it on Game Pass very quickly.
Yeah, I've got to say this UI for the website kind of looks like Game Awards stuff. Does that like?
It does.
Does anyone else get that feeling?
Oh yeah, it looks like a promo website for like the BAFTAs or something.
Yeah. Like the golden black is very like awards.
And then you'll see like next year or this year, sorry, in the Game Awards, like Forspoken for Game of the Year.
Yeah, well,
maybe, hopefully.
You never know, right?
Yeah. On January 26th, we have 2 indie games. The first being one called Garden Inn. That's IN, not Garden Inn. Yeah. This game, there wasn't much for this week, but this game just looked like a little bit of chill. I watched Bluntcast play Unpacking Simulator.
I've played Unpacking. That game's great. Is that the pixel art one, right?
Yeah, that's the pixel art one. And this one just seems like, oh yeah, you just like have a little room or little skyboxes and you just garden a little bit. You know?
There's something about this sort of indie UI. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
I think I do, yeah.
Where I feel like it's everywhere. really thick, kind of bubbly text. I'm making complaints for no reason, but that's that. But I'm just like, oh, it's yeah.
Yeah, this seems like it would appeal to some people.
Oh my god, it's also Slime Rancher. What the fuck? It's got little slime.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the little cute, like rosy cheeks.
Little baby boy.
How much is this because of inflation? Like 50 quid?
Inflation. Gardening's increasing its price. Hasn't even launched yet.
Yeah.
The next game is called Power Chord.
Power Chord. 2 separate words.
Yes. Yeah.
Power Chord.
Yeah, there we go. It looks like a Darkest Dungeon clone, but for rock metal band stuff, music things.
This art style is awesome. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. With cards as well.
Yeah.
But we've had a few games that have like the sort of like Darkest Dungeon, like combat of like 4 people in a line versus like enemies. But this one, I was like, oh, it's like kind of music inspired. I assume it would have like a good soundtrack as well.
I can confidently say that I'm not going to play this, but this looks awesome. Like I love this art style. It's really it's like really saturated. Like the brightest of reds.
Run based. It's basically Slay the Spire or Monster Train.
I saw one of the pictures, and it's literally the Slay the Spire branch.
It does look pretty good, actually.
Big Blue Bubble, what they made. Nothing I recognise.
My Singing Monsters.
My Singing Monsters Playground.
I used to play that on my phone.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I'm a big sucker for like saturated colours. I just think it looks so nice when done well.
And we have one final game, and this is the biggest one, and it will be on January 27th. We have Dead Space Remake.
Oh, I cannot wait. It looks so good.
Wait, this is going to be on like Game Pass, right? Because it's EA.
No.
Who knows?
No, I don't think so. I feel like that would be a bigger thing to shout about, right? If it was. I haven't heard that though. EA Play Pro? EA Play Pro members get access to Dead Space for $14.99. You could play this for 15 quid.
Yeah, you can buy Ultimate. Yeah. Oh, and also not at launch. What a stupid way. I just read. This was a news story that said, yes, Dead Space Remake is coming to Game Pass, but only to those with Ultimate. I was like, yeah! And also not at launch. I was like, oh. Why'd you bait me like that?
That might be just the Game Pass one. It says here you can play it January 29th for 15 quid.
There you go then. Nice.
If you're actually curious about this, that's a really good price to play. Because this is let's be honest, it's a one and done, right?
Yeah, that's how I played the Jedi game.
Yeah, Dead Space is how long to beat Dead Space? How long is Dead Space? 11 hours?
It's like 11, 12 hours, yeah.
Unless they do some weird FF7 remake shit and suddenly Isaac is just like...
Oh my god, Sephiroth's there.
Yeah, Sephiroth's there.
You have to fight.
And Isaac lands in fucking like Witcher land or something. I can't see it being longer than 11 hours. So that's not bad, man. That's really good.
Is Dead Space the prequel to Binding of Isaac?
Absolutely, yeah.
Did you know if you take all of the first letters from all of the chapters in Dead Space, it spells out
a massive spoiler.
FF7 remake. That spells out Sephiroth is my dad.
It spells out my dad works for Nintendo. And that's canon. That's actually canon. He goes to...
Yeah, you can't prove that wrong.
He goes to Super Mario Land in Dead Space 2. That's kind of a spoiler. Did you see that with this, apparently if you buy it on PC, they also just give you Dead Space 2?
Oh, that's cool.
Just Dead Space 2?
Yeah, not the third one. I guess we just assume that one doesn't exist.
Just not counting that one. Sweep that under the... What about the Wii light gun game? Do they give me that too?
Yeah, they give you the Wii light. They give you the mobile game. They also give you the anime movie.
I was going to say, what about the graphic novel? Yeah,
they give you the graphic novel. They give you... Oh, what else is there? There's probably like audiobooks,
PDF
or some
of
shit.
The audio. Yeah, PDF of the audiobook. Yeah,
they give you
transcribed.
They give you the Necromorph body pillow.
They give you the keys to the game director's house.
Oh my god!
And you get the Glenn Schofield sippy cup. that says "I made this," by the way, because he never wants you to forget that. By the way, he made Dead Space. All right, let's wrap this up and go home. Thank you for listening, everybody. That's another week done. I'm glad we got back to do this again. 2 weeks it felt like too long. Kind of forgot how to do podcasts. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, I forgot how to talk there for a while.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up.
That was true.
It's like an old, comfortable pair of shoes, right? You take 2 weeks off and come back, and it's like, oh yeah, this is comfy. I can wear these again. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. We'll do our socials, and we will get out of here. My name is Josh, aka BottlerWorks. You can find me on everything via that name. How about you, Will?
Hello. You know where to find me.
And Steve.
Hi, I'm Quikwix. That's QYKWIX on all good social media.
And Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam, and everyone should play Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden because they're out on Steam and Game Pass.
Yeah, if you want to get in contact with Sam, you can wear his ring and engage with him and summon him, and he'll fight for you in the
That's
background.
Really good.
All right, we're done here. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.